Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing the 2024 Mexico Open down there in a good old, I believe it's Puerto Vallarta. I've heard different areas, but it's the Vallarta area, which is usually called Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, kind of down the coast area. Should be fun, kind of, maybe, sort of. We'll break it all down for you, recap some of the Genesis. Like, people are afraid to go play in Mexico because of Montezuma's revenge. Seems like that happened at Genesis. We'll see. We'll talk about that as well. But you can find me on Twitter at BDintric, the podcast at Always Press DFS, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how we doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. It's another week in the books. Somehow a golf tournament with 60-ish golfers and a cut of 50 and T50 and within 10 strokes. Somehow I had 0 6s because of Justin Thomas and Matt Fitzpatrick. We got Tiger with the shits leaving. Some other guys got sick. Jordan Spieth gets DQ'd. What were your thoughts on the Genesis? Like, Hideki looked amazing on Sunday. No shade on that. He looked great. No. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was another shit show of a week, man. I mean, I don't know how it keeps happening to the PGA Tour at like the very worst time too. Because obviously you've got return of Tiger. He looks like he's going to make the cut, play the weekend, help the viewership and the buzz about the tournament, and then he gets the flu, and withdrawals after 7 holes or whatever on Friday. And then one of the next biggest draws, Jordan Spieth signs an incorrect scorecard. They're going to go ahead and DQ him. He's not going to play the weekend. He had a cut. Yeah, I played one lineup. I had 2 guys who missed the cut, Kirk and Wyndham Clark. So from that perspective, I was just kind of done with the tournament until Sunday when I did turn it on, because there's not a whole lot else going on Sundays, and thought we were going to have a great tournament. Like, that was going to come down to the wire. And then Hideki, I mean, what do you even say about those shots? I think it was 14-15.
Yeah,
where he almost holds out back to back, and then makes a great birdie on 17, and it's not even, it's over. Like, it went from like being like, oh, we're gonna have this great finish. You got Will Zalatoris, one of the better up and comers that there is. You got Cantlay, Xander, 2 of the bigger names, more the elite golfers coming down the stretch, and then Hideki says, "Nah, I'm just gonna win this thing by 3." So, see y'all.
Yeah, the 14 and 15, he was a total of 6 inches and 8 inches away on 2 of those shots. Just ridiculous.
It would have been cooler if Hideki was more in contention and had a later tee time, and therefore was in kind of one of the final 2 groups. And you know what I mean? Like, that would have made the drama so much better. But
well, that's what people are saying. Like, it's kind of rough on the tour when they already lost Tiger for the week, lost Jordan, and now the tournament's over with like 3.5 holes to go still, with the leaders out there. Like, they show the picture of the caddy just vaping on the freaking porch, watching. Like he has a pack of smokes in one hand and his vape in the other, just chilling. Someone quote tweeted it. I can't remember who it was. It was great. It was like, nothing like after a laborious day on the course, staring off with your vape pen, knowing you're to collect about $400,000.
Yeah,
just chilling.
Yep.
Hideki doing typical Hideki things. Like, when Hideki was in his prime, he would hit shots and get mad at his shot, and he would then like a foot every time. You look at him going, "What's wrong, Hideki?" He did it a couple times on Sunday, and even in the post round, he's like, "I feel like I shot 3 over." I'm like, dude, you shot 9 under. You shot like the best closing round on that golf course. You were bogey free. You shot 6 under on the back 9, which is the harder 9. It was just insane what Hideki did on Sunday. It was good to see.
It was. I mean, and we talked about last week. It's a matter of time before he's back.
Stupid. The price tag was
that price was at 7,400 or wherever he was last week. I mean, that was just too low. I wish I listened to myself and played him in my one lineup. I did not. So I hope somebody out there was able to benefit from that. But yeah, it was just an unfortunate series of events again for the PGA Tour, coming off a week where, there was a better week at as far as the golf goes, obviously with the playoff, but then kind of a shit show as far as the alcohol consumption and just the crowd. Week before, 54 hole, it's just not been a great start to the year, in my opinion. And you've had all these 100-to-1 winners, and then Hideki was, I think, 75-to-1.
So still like,
so it's close enough, but at least he's a name that people know.
Yep.
The only thing I've thought, is I hope that we're going through this now, and then we end up getting just epic majors, all year. The Masters is a great finish, is a great tournament, and then the rest of them are as well as far as the majors go. So if that happens, I'll gladly sacrifice the Genesis Open to have a great Masters or a great U.S. Open.
Yeah, we'll see. So we have Mexico this week. We have the Honda, or whatever they're calling it now. The Honda's next week. And then we get, I believe, Arnie, and then the players and Arnie, something like that. Yeah, it's Arnie.
Yeah, the players will be another good one too. I forgot we even have that before we even get to
the Masters. Yeah, we have good golf coming up. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, there's some good golf courses, but Riviera is a great golf course, and then that turned into what it did. So
hey, I'll ask you this, because I saw this on Twitter a lot too before we go on to Mexico, because this is going to be an interesting episode after that point. I believe it was the fourth hole, like a 15%-ish greens and reg rate. Many guys were complaining about it. Many of the announcers were talking about it. It's by far the hardest green to hit in regs. Like some of the guys are saying the way it's built and the around the green, it doesn't reward good shots or rewards lucky shots. It's just a bad hole design. They're saying. It was interesting to see so many golfers, I guess, talk about this. Like I even saw people like Adam Shank said, "Hey Tiger, love your tournament, love being here. Thanks for having me. Anyway, we could change 4 to do this, this, and this. Thanks."
I missed all that. I didn't see any of those takes, so I didn't hear them. So yeah, but that's to me, just without knowing any context, or I don't even remember watching the fourth hole. But that's just golfers bitching about golfer shit. You know what I mean? Like everybody has to play that same hole.
That's because everyone's fighting for par.
Figure it out.
So apparently Hideki didn't have a problem because he didn't vote a hole on Sunday.
I don't know.
So, yeah,
seems like
it was just interesting to see that many voices speaking it. And the last thing I thought that was very funny on Sunday, Jim Nantz had no problem calling out the slow play of the final grouping of Xander and Cantlay, because they were like a hole and a half to 2 holes behind.
Early.
It got bad.
Early.
Right out the gate.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yes. I think that part of that was Zalatoris and English were playing. I think was he playing with? No, he wasn't playing with English. He was playing with Luke List. They were playing really good golf. So like Luke List shot 30 on the front. So obviously he's not taking as many shots. And both Xander and Cantlay have made all par, so they're taking more shots. And Cantlay takes more time over the ball. Yeah. I think that's part of it, because they were closer, a lot closer on the back 9, especially at the end than it was on the front 9 after Luke List came back down to earth. But yeah, it's funny because I thought Luke List on the front 9 was just going to run away with it.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, and then you got Hideki who ends up running away with it, and just leaves us with
wild stuff. All right, let's go to Mexico. I'd love to go to Mexico, honestly.
Yeah, I would too.
Hey, both our weather. Yours is cold, mine's been wet. I'm ready to go to Mexico. Let's do it.
It's brutal.
Let's talk about it here, though. I know we have 2 years of history. So what do you got for some past event history? Mexico Open, and it's a different time of year this year too, by the way.
Is it? Was it? What time of year was it?
It used to be around the Wells Fargo, but now they made it so it actually makes geographical sense to go from California to Mexico to Florida. Novel concept, I know.
Yeah,
they used to go East Coast back to Mexico, back to the East Coast is what they used to do.
Yeah, that's ignorant. At least they figured that out. Last year Tony Finau was the winner, 3 shots at 3 shots over Jon Rahm. He shot 24 under for the week. The 2022 champion was Jon Rahm. He shot 17 under for the week, 1 shot over Finau, Kitayama, and Brandon Wu. They have played other tournaments here, and that you're looking at, like, it's really strange scoring. The winner is either like 23 under or 17 under. Strange.
That's so not anything in between, just those 2 numbers basically.
Well, yeah. So you got 24-17 on the PGA Tour, and then if you look at I think it's PGA Tour Latin America, 23 under, 17 under, 18 under, 16 under, 23 under, 17 under, that's 7 under, 14 under, 17 under, 12, 15, 17. It's just it's
interesting.
Yeah, it's just an odd. Obviously, you didn't have as many good golfers playing this golf course previous to 2022, but still, Alvaro Ortiz shot 23 under in 2021. So
Birdie Fest Central is what it comes down to. And it'll make sense when you look at it here as we go to, and this is, I thought, surprised they haven't found a new golf course, to be honest, because this is designed by Greg Norman. It's a Norman golf course.
And they moved it from Gulf. The other one they played
at.
Yeah, because they agreed to have live tournament there.
Yeah, live at the Mayakoba. There's Pultepeca place. So now it's here.
And then they went to
A Greg Norman course.
Yeah.
Too good. Too good.
Odd.
The Norman signature course at Vedanta Nuevo Vallarta, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Yes, there you go. I have a little
good.
Spanish in me.
Well, you also live in California.
I was like, yeah, I work in farming for most of my life, so I can speak Spanglish very well. Spanglish is what I want to say, not Spanish, Spanglish. But yeah, it's down there in Puerto Vallarta. It's not technically like Puerto Vallarta is kind of like on the ocean, a peninsula type place. This course is more inland in Puerto Vallarta, though, so you can get affected by the winds. There's no denying that, but it's not like a given, hey, we're on the ocean thing. That's why you still see scores between 17 and 23, as Jesse was mentioning. If there was more wind issues, we'd see a lot more 7s and 8s probably popping up in this joint, like we do down there in Bermuda and whatnot from time to time. So you're going to get plenty of scoring here. It's a par 71, almost 7,500 yards, very, very long golf course. You think par 75 or 7,500 yards, usually a par 72. You got the 71. Water is in play in 13 holes, but you really have to F up to find it. Let's put it that way. And what you're going to get here, tons of pass palm turf. Fairway is rough. Rough's about 1.5 inches. It's very sticky. So, and the fairways are super wide, 41 to 42 yards wide. It's a bomber's paradise. Greens are slow pass palm greens as well. So you might have to be able to get good out of the green side bunkers, but like scrambling shouldn't be a big issue. What it comes down to is you're going to see a lot of bombers here and long iron play here. That's kind of what it comes down to looking at things. A lot of your approaches, if you're kind of playing safer off the tee, is around the 200-yard range. Majority of approaches in general, 175 to 200 plus, give or take. So I focused on that in my model quite a bit. It was long iron play and just driving distance, incorporating a few things. And if you look into some of the guys that have had success here in the past, they are guys that we will talk, or at least I know I'll talk about on the show, because they came back with those things that they do very well, is long iron play and driving distance. So I'm keeping it really simple this week because it is a shit show. We'll talk about it. There's a lot of 5K golfers this week. Over half the field is basically in the 5K and 6K range. So it's going to be a mess. So what stats are you looking for this week, Jesse? Because even saying that out loud, with that many bad golfers, most of the stats aren't even current.
Yeah. I mean, unless you can get like some Corn Ferry stats, European Tour stats. Yeah. So par 5 scoring, I think, matters. Driving distance matters. Approach matters on every single course, that especially the ones that, well, on every course, just it matters. And then birdie or better percentage. So that's where I'm kind of looking. There's not a whole lot of course history. There's 2 years, so it's worth looking at it. I don't weight it though.
Yeah, I'll still look at the course history just because guys that can go to Mexico and play well will bode well, but at the same time, outside of I'm just gonna say in general, like 8K and above guy, probably just 9K and above, 8K and above guys. A lot of these boys are Corn Ferry throwing darts at the pen type guys and hoping they can putt well. So it'll vary quite a bit, kind of what Jesse was saying. With that being said, let's have some fun though. Talk some DK pricing, because even in this wonky field, we somehow have 5 guys over $10,000, Jesse. We have Tony Finau at $12,000. He's finished second and first here for those that have been living under a rock. Emiliano Grillo at 11-1. Nikolai Hogard 10-7. Thorborn Olesen 10-3. Tomas Dietrich 10-1. So a Euro feel up here outside of good old Finau. And I guess Grillo's actually like Argentinian. But yeah, very foreign feeling to the top 10.
Very Corn Ferry feeling to the top. I mean, like, this is
the whole field. It gets better, Jesse. I promise.
Rough.
Better.
Yeah, no, it does not. Don't let him lie to you. Tony Finau, I mean, obviously he's very much in play at 12,000. Højgaard definitely hits it far enough. 10,700 played here. Last year finished 33rd and played last week. Made a bunch of cuts in a row on tour, including the PGA, including the European Tour. All 3 this year. Finished second at the Farmers Open a couple weeks ago. And then Olsen at 10-3. He's never played here, but similar to Højgaard in that he does hit it far enough and has been playing plenty of golf. He's been playing most of the DP World Tour and is coming off an 8th place finish his last time out, which unless he played some like other event, I don't know, which was in January. And then Dietrich's been playing on the tour, 10,100 there for him. 3 straight made cuts for him. Last being at the Phoenix Open, finished 28th. And then, at AT&T at Pebble Beach, he finished 4th. So I don't know. Grillo, I don't know. But yeah, you tell me. I mean, like I would really focus on, in my opinion, Højgaard and Dietrich in this range if you're going to be up here, because then you're going to have to go way down. It makes it more difficult if you play Finau, but it's hard to pass him on him too.
I'm just glad they priced Finau at $12K.
Yeah, I agree. I think they did a good job pricing this.
Yeah. Otherwise, he'd be in every single lineup. And that's why you got to have the 5K guys, because you got to get the options still to have Finau, but it makes it at least you have to work for it, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Kind of like Jesse said, if you want Finau, take Finau. Like, there's no problem with that. But I'm going to pass, honestly. I'm going to do my stupid thing, because at $12K, you better win the whole freaking thing. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you have cost me tremendously in this deal. The Grillo one's just very interesting for the fact that he has finished 5th here last year, 33rd the year before. So he's played it both years. He's played it well. He's making cuts. Are they great at this price point at 11-1? I don't know. 44th, 22nd, 14th, 20th, 7th. You'd like more. Not going to deny that. But I think Grillo's interesting at 11-1, because I don't think many are going to pay that price, is why it appeals to me. Now, if you go to the last 24 rounds, his iron play is atrocious, but somehow he's still finishing well, so he must be scrambling his butt off or something. He's actually putting well. He's 9th in this field in putting in the last 24 rounds. Go through that one into the sun.
Speaking of which, did you see the tweet that the PGA Tour put out that was about Luke List? And basically it said, you can expect Luke List to make it if he's got a putter in his hands. Did you see that tweet? And he made a 30-footer or something.
Oh my God. No. Speaking of bad putting, we didn't even talk about Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah. We'll get there eventually, the next time he's in the field.
Yeah, because, man, that's rough. But then it comes down to, like you said, Højgaard, Olesen, Dietrich. And Dietrich's been playing the most, been playing well. Højgaard is really solid, too. You mentioned the driving distance is big here. He's 9th in the field from 175 to 200. You go 200 plus, he's 91st, so it's a little different. Olesen is the interesting one to me, because I think people know Dietrich, they know Højgaard. That has some love to it. Olesen, he's 39th in my model, which I don't even know if I should care about rankings a ton in this. I will, because I'll throw names out there, but he's 16th from 200 yards plus, and he's 26th from 175 to 200. Now that's his last 24 rounds on the PGA Tour, because we don't have Corn Fair, or I don't have DP World Tour stats, unfortunately. But he rates out well in those regards. But in general, I hate this whole range just for the fact that it ruins the rest of my team. That may change, because there are some 6K guys I don't mind. I think there would have normally been 7K guys when we talk about them later. So 10K and above, I plan on using none of them. But, man, I think I go Olsen if I have to, and it's just that whole have to part doesn't make it fun. 9K range, Keith Mitchell, and how's Keith not in the 10K with those other guys? Or Jaeger is 10K a few weeks ago.
I'm surprised Jaeger's not. Yeah,
Mitchell's 99, Jaeger's 98, P-Rod is $9,700. Oh my God. Pendrith is 96, EVR is 95, Mac Hughes 94, Ryan Fox 93, Rayo Histanian is 92, Brandon Wu, who's played great here, is 91, and Hubs is 9K. What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, if Keith Mitchell can get his short game going, that's been really kind of his Achilles heel here more recently. He finished 17th at the Phoenix Open, but did not have a very good short game. Didn't have a good short game at Pebble Beach. He definitely hits it far enough, and we know how good of an iron striker he can be. Jaeger at 9,800, 18th and 15th in his last 2 starts here. So, I mean, yeah, how is he not 10K and above, especially with his form coming in? I know he finished 71st at Pebble Beach, but before that was 3rd, 52nd, 18th, 28th, 45th. I mean, in much more legitimate fields than this one. Is it a P-Raj week? I think it is.
He plays great here. That price is tough to stomach, but he plays great here.
10th last two starts. Missed the cut last week. At Riviera, but had made 4 in a row before that. Pendrith at 9,600, 30th here last year, 9th his last time out the Farmers. EVR 33rd in his lone start here last year, and come off a miscut at Phoenix. I do like EVR quite a bit this week, just for the perspective of he's coming off miscut there. Rio 9,200, your boy. I don't have any stats or anything on him, but I think he is playable. Nobody else will play him. And then Brandon Wu, 9,100, 3rd and 2nd in his last 2 starts here, but coming off a miscut at Phoenix, 47th, Pebble Beach, miscut, American Express. So little bit more wonky form coming in, but obviously it's hard to deny that those 2 starts and those 2 top 3 finishes in the last 2 years for Brandon Wu.
Yep. Killer Keith is interesting. I give you that. If you guys want to play him, I'm not opposed to it, but I pretty much have 3 dudes here because they rank in my top 6th. And that is Jaeger Bombs. He's 6th in my model. You hit on it, but he's like 18th from 175 to 200. He's one of the better ball strikers in the field. 7th in strokes gained ball striking. He's 27th in driving distance. He's played great here, like you mentioned. I like Jaeger Bombs. Pendrith is 2nd in my model. He's 2nd in driving distance, is one thing we were looking at. From 200 plus, he's 60th in the field, but from 175 to 200, he's 8th. And so he does that extremely well, and he can scramble his butt off. It's like Pendrith is very live, and then EVR is 3rd in my model. So I like him a ton. He's 1st in this field in strokes gained ball striking in the last 24 rounds. And when you look iron play, 200 plus is 77th, not great. 41st and 125 to 175 to 200. But it's just that consistency. His approach game 2nd in the field. He's 8th off the tee. He's just putting the full game together. So I like those 3 a ton. Some other outliers, like Ryu, I do agree. He's 19th in my model. He's 17th from 175 to 200 in that long iron play we're talking about. He gives himself tons of birdie opportunities, 5th in birdie or better in the last 24 rounds. So those are the main guys I'm looking at. You can make. I wouldn't be opposed to the Brandon Wu's because from course history alone here has been great. Hubbard's played well here. He's a birdie machine when he's on. He can be tilting. So I agree with that, but I'm going to try to keep it to those 3 or 4 and see where magic can hopefully happen. 8K range, you got Davis Thompson, Dougie Gim, Jake Knapp, Cam Champ, Aaron Rye, Charlie Hoffman, who's putting it together lately, Justin Sue, Michael Kim, Mab McNeely, and Austin Eckroat. What do you like in this range?
Davis Thompson in 89. He's never played here, but 15th, his last start at the Phoenix Open. Miscut at the Farmers, but was on a little bit of a streak before that. Doug Gim at 8,800. I feel like this is a little bit of a low price on him. He did miss the cut in his one start, he missed the cut last year, 33rd the year before that. Back-to-back top 15s for Doug Gim on tour. Jake Knapp, this dude will absolutely bomb it. 28th and 3rd in his last 2 starts on tour. He's a new guy. I think he's a rookie, but he's very much in play for me. Cam Champ, 8,600, 8th and 6th in his 2 starts here. 4 straight miscuts on tour. Do with that what you'd like. Michael Kim at 8,200, 30th in his 1 start here. Did miss the cut his last time out the Phoenix Open, but was playing pretty solid golf before that. Mab McNeely at 8,100, 60th here last year. Has made 3 straight cuts on tour, including a 6th place finish his last time out at the Phoenix Open. So I really like Mav quite a bit, especially at that price. I think Doug Gim is underpriced there, and then Jake Knapp is a bit of a GPP flyer.
Yeah, I agree. I think McNeely is underpriced here as well, just like you were saying, because he's coming in well. The stats aren't ideal, but he's continuing to improve. Like, Will Zalatoris is improving from injury. McNeely is improving from injury. McNeely used to be much more respected in the field when he was on point, and he would not be $8,100. So someone to keep in mind when looking at that. Jake Knapp, I do like a lot. Young kid. I only have 22 total rounds for him, of course, but he rates out his driving distance is 6th in the field, which is what you want to see. Iron plays okay. He's got good scrambling ability if all else fails, which you hope you don't need to in this event. But you mentioned bombs away. See where it goes from there. I love Dougie Gim, 14th in my model. He's got good iron play. His approach game's 10th in the field, 5th off the tee. He's played very well here, as you mentioned. Davis Thompson I like as well at $8,900. He ranks 7th in my model. He's 3rd in the field from approximately 200 plus and 29th from 175 to 200. So great long iron play was, again, what I'm looking at here. And then just to highlight your Cam Champ point, one might say he fits a golf course and by no means are my models like perfect for any golf course, but for what I'm looking for at this golf course, Cam Champ ranks 4th in this field. Even with the 4 missed cuts, he's in this field over the last 24 rounds. He's 4th strokes gained off the tee. His problem is around the greens and his wedge play. That's his weakness. He's 2nd in the field in driving distance. He's 5th in long irons from 200 yards plus. He's 36 from 175 to 200. He's 21st just in strike screen ball striking. The dude's hitting it well. It's his putting and his short game that's crushing him right now. And the way this course lays out, he might not have to use his wedge that often, which could come into play for Cam Champ. Now, am I all in on Cam Champ? No, but there's the argument if you're looking for it with Cam Champ. Other than that, Charlie Hoffman is kind of interesting at 84. Really starting to find his groove here. That's a guy that if he's rolling the rock well, could take a push as well. But it's McNeely, Knapp, Gim, Thompson's the main ones I'm looking at here. 79 to 75. You got S.H. Kim, Toasty, Hadley, Lashley, Vincent Norman, Johnny Vegas, K.H. Lee, Alex Smalley, and that'll do it in this range. Small range here. So who you got? Because they're all on the 5s and 6s. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I got Toasty at 7,800, finished 10th here last year. Hasn't played since the Farmers, but he finished 43rd there. And then Vincent Norman at 7,600, 18th here last year, coming off a miscut at the Phoenix Open, 56th at the Farmers. But those are two guys right there that I would target in this range, especially Toasty, who has a propensity to either cheat or go really low at times.
I like Toasty quite a bit. I'm with you on that one. Like you said, the way he finished here last year at 10th, and just his overall gameplay is good. I think S.H. Kim's interesting, 24th here last year. And then recent form, 28th at Phoenix, 31st at Pebble, 50th at Farmers, miscut at Amex, 30th at Sony. He's playing well against all things considered in this field. So I think S.H. Kim's the guy. Johnny Vegas, 22nd in Phoenix, as he's been battling back from injury. Plays well on these, Southern Hemisphere, not even Southern Hemisphere, South American courses is something to keep in mind with Johnny V. And when you look at, he hasn't played here in 2 years, the 2 years they've had it here because he's been battling injuries. But he's actually first in my model, which makes me feel wonderful. He's second off the tee. He's fourth in driving distance, second in ball striking, second from 175 to 200, and 48th and 200 plus. So if he's feeling good, this fits him very well. And that is it for me in this range. Okay, another small range here. 70 to 74. Might as well have done them all together. Matt Wallace at 74. Carson Young at 74. Bjork at 73. Stallings, Spawn, Sig, Goddard, Sam Stevens, Novak, and Bobby Mack round out the 7K.
Yeah, I got Carson Young at 7,400, finished 15th here last year. 3 straight meg cuts for him on tour, including a 17th place finish at the American Express a month ago. Samuel Stevens at 7,100 has never played here, but we talked about this guy quite a bit last year. Fell off a little bit at the end, but 4 straight meg cuts for him on tour. Yeah, 4. 2 inside the top 30. Including his last finish at the Phoenix Open where he finished 28th. So those are my 2 main targets here. I mean, I could see I don't know, 7,200 JJ Spawn. It's really sketch, but I think he's a better bet to win because of his odds than it sounds weird, but
than to
play him on here. But that's just me.
Even a top 20 for JJ seems like a more
I mean, because he's 110 to 1.
Yeah.
To win.
And I'm with you. I was looking at him deep. I had about an extra hour to look at stuff today, and I was clicking on certain names, looking at a lot more of the charts and stuff. And it just feels like he sees JJ at $7,200. What are we doing here? What's going on? He's been coming in rough form.
Yeah, so I was going to say. Then you look at his recent form. Yeah, okay.
But like you're saying, if it's going to click, he could dominate most of this field. You wouldn't be shocked,
right?
It's because of the way he was playing, to end of the season last year. That I agree with you completely. Is what I'm trying to say is that if you want to take a flyer on a guy, he could be one of them for sure. I'm 100% on Carson Young with you. This is one of our boys from the fall swing. He's 28th in my model. He's 9th in ball striking. He's first in 200 plus yardage plays, and he is 19th in 175 to 200. So great long iron player for Carson Young. So I'm on board with that at 74. I did have JJ Spawn starred just to have the discussion that you brought up, which is perfect. Grayson Sig at 72. If you want to take some past history here, he's finished 18th and 39th. Could be something to look at, but not a whole lot else. I do like Sam Stevens a lot at 71. I'm glad you brought him up because, again, clicking on his overall profile, and there have been some market improvements. Like you said, we used to play the snot out of him. Then he fell off in the fall, it felt like, but then he's come back strong here in the early part of the season. So I'm 100% on the Sam Stevens train at 71. And that'll do it in this range. All right, 6K is a lot bigger, so I ain't reading them all. Who do you like here?
I don't blame you. I actually like Joseph Bramlett quite a bit. 10th here last year. He did miss the cut in 2022. Coming off a missed cut, but finished 25th at the Farmers, and we know how far he hits it. Davis Riley at 6,500, fifth here last year. Made one cut this year, was at Pebble Beach, which was his last start.
Which was a no cut.
So, there you go. 3 straight missed cuts before that. Parker Cootie, he's mostly a Corn Ferry guy, but he did play the Farmers Insurance Open where he made the cut, missed the cut at the American Express, and made the cut at the Sony Open. So 2 out of 3 for him this year on tour. Rafael Campos, you always got to kind of play. I think he's Mexican.
Get your Latin flair. That's the way I say it, because I don't want to misspeak. I think he is. I'm with you. I think he is.
Let's just double check on that before we put our foot in the mouth here.
I'm good.
But yeah, getting guys who it means a little bit more to that playing that narrative. Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
No, never mind. No. That's he's an actor. That was an actor born in 1936.
Puerto Rican. That's what I was thinking. It's Puerto Rican.
He is from Puerto Rico. You're correct. Yes. Yeah. So you want to play that one a little bit more at the Puerto Rico. But either way, he's still. My model likes him, and I'm assuming it's because of he had one good start at the Farmers Insurance Open, so finished 20th there, and that's all I got in the 6K range.
Right?
No, I got Bronson Burgoon. I'm sorry.
There you go. I'm glad you mentioned him.
Yeah. So two out of 2 made cuts for him on PGA Tour this year.
Yep, coming back from injury because he made that first cut. I'll click on his name real quick to mention it. He's 6K, so the rankings ranked 117th. He doesn't have a lot of recent rounds, let's put it that way, because he was injured for all of 23. He played in April of 22 on the Valero, didn't play again until the Amex in this year because he was on a medical exemption. That he jumped back in and he went 14th and 50th. Those are his 2 finishes between the Amex and the Farmers. So this is Burgoon, who used to play actually pretty reasonable golf. And he's made 2 cuts since coming back from his long layoff due to injury at 6K. I like him a lot this week, actually. Just at that price point for a guy that has, compared to other people down here, I like him a lot because I think he has a lot of upsides, what I'm trying to say, at that price point. So Burgoon at 6K, I'm with you on. Dylan Wu at 69, I like. I'm going to say Sammy Valimaki at $6,700. More of a Euro Tour guy, but we saw him finish 41st at the Phoenix Open, 43rd at the Farmers. So a couple decent finishes there. Has never played here. Garrett Higgo missed the cut here last year, but I want to bring him up. He was 49th at the Phoenix Open, 2 missed cuts part of that, 60th at Sony. But he actually rakes out really well here. He's 16th in my model. He's 10th in driving distance, 27th from 200 plus, 35th from 175 to 200. So good. A decent driver of distance of the golf ball and good iron play is one to look at. Harrison Endicott, if you're feeling frisky, you can go there. Our boy Carl Yawn's down to $6,200. What the hell happened here, Jesse? We were all like, this guy was crushing it for us. $6,200. I guess that's what happens when you miss the cut in Phoenix. You missed the cut at the Farmers. You missed the cut at the Amex. But you're 4th at Sony, so that was fun. But he's cheap if you want a birdie fest type guy. Down here with Carl Yawn at 6,200, and last year he finished 55th here, his lone appearance. Then I want to mention Ches Reavie. He's $6,200, 49th last year, 13th the year before here. Again, we're talking cheap, so that's why we're talking about stuff like this. 3 out of 4 missed cuts this season. What I want to mention, and he's 92nd in my model, but if we're trying to stick to the driving distance iron play. Driving distance, whatever, he's 130th in the field. Long irons, though, 24th from 200 yards plus, 7th from 175 to 200. He doesn't have to worry about a bad driver because the fairways are so wide. So as long as he can just put it somewhere on the runway, he can use his iron play to hopefully get him some chances. So it's like if you're throwing darts at $6,200, Ches is a guy I wouldn't completely throw off the paper. So I'm trying to say.
Kevin Chappell's another guy that at 6,000 is playable too.
Yep, I have him right here. I did not mention him, but I agree with you on that. I did have him chalked off. You've been a Chappie guy for a while, so that's a good one. 5K range. What do you like? I actually have like 5 guys start off. It's scary.
Hayden Springer at 5,700. 33rd his last start at the Farmers Insurance Open. Tom Whitney also played the Farmers, finished 13th. Kevin Doherty. Pretty sure he's an actor, but he also finished 50th at the Farmers Insurance Open. And Ben Taylor at 5,100 finished 8th here last year. Come off a miscut of Phoenix, but made the cut at the Farmers. 4 straight miscuts before that. But again, 10th here last year, and he's 8th. I'm sorry, 8th here last year, and he's $5,100.
Yeah, it's the world we're living in now. Tyson Alexander, $5,600, missed the cut here last year. 53rd at Phoenix, 56th at the Farmers, missed cuts prior to that, of course. I wanted to mention the fact that he's 5th from 175 to 200. Everything else a little murky, as you'd expect. David Lipsky, $5,500. This is a guy that usually rates out pretty well in these fields, but here's what you got. You got 4 straight missed cuts to start the season. That's cool. But if you look at course history, 60th and 6th. Pick your poisons, all I'm going to say. Which one do you want to roll with? He's been playing horrible golf, but he likes playing here. Scott Piercy, 39th and 33rd here. He's $5,300. Has not played this entire season yet. That's all I'm going to say. And then you mentioned Ben Taylor, who I completely agree with. He's actually 12th from 200 yards plus and 33rd from 175 to 200 with 44th in driving distance. So those actually checked out at $5,100. Makes sense why he's played pretty well here. You can drive the snot out of the ball and really good iron play. Gives himself some chances at 51. And then I did star Matt Akins here. I'm trying to figure out why. Miscut at the Waste Management, 64th at the Farmers. And I don't even know why. I must have accidentally checked him because I'm looking at everything here. I have no reason to have him checked off. But yeah, he's 41st in my model for someone. God, they're great iron play, but who knows when those rounds came from. So yeah, it's ugly, Jesse. It's ugly. Let's recap things. 10K range. Who you got?
I'm gonna say Højgaard.
I'm gonna go Olsen. Thorborn Olsen. That's just rough. 9K range.
Jaeger.
Yeah, I'll go Pendrith since you took it. Yeah, I might triple stack this range. 8K range.
Mav McNeely.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Davis Thompson. So just do 7K range. Who do you like?
I'm gonna say Toasty.
That is the pick. So you took Toasty. I will take Sam Stevens. 6K range.
Bramlett.
That's fair. I will take. Oh no, I want. Where did he go? He's down here. Give me Burgoon at 6K. And then who's your 5K guy?
Throw a dart.
Tyson Alexander.
Ben Taylor is my guy.
Ben. Hey, if you're gonna go YOLO, if you're gonna play Tony Finau, play Ben Taylor and just walk make that your 1-2 punch and go.
Might as well.
It just seems like fun. I don't want to play cash this week.
No.
I'm sorry, people. Just don't do it to yourselves unless you can. Yeah, I'm not gonna say unless. Don't do it. Just don't do it to yourselves. Yeah. But if you're building a GPP lineup, Jesse, where are you starting things off?
I'm going Jaeger, Knapp, and Burgoon. We're going to have to really keep an eye on Burgoon. I guess we're going to have to bet him, aren't we?
Yeah, at least a top 20, I think, just for fun. Or even see what a top 40 is based on his rank. He might still get okay odds at a top 40, honestly. But I'll say a Burgoon for me as well. I just love that 6K price tag for what he does. I'll go up Burgoon, Sam Stevens at 71, and Jaeger bombs, and you can fill in the rest from there. You could make a lot of teams in between that area. All right. Picks to win. You got 7.5 to 1 on Tony Finau. That's rich. Griot's 22. Jaeger at 22 seems fun.
Yeah, I'm looking at FanDuel odds here, so they might be slightly different than yours. I got Mav at 60 to 1. JJ Spawn, I talked about before, I'd rather bet him to win than play him on DraftKings, 110 to 1. Bramlett, 110 to 1. And then Jaeger at 22. Not what I really want to bet Stephan Jaeger at, but I'd rather bet him. I think has a good chance to win this tournament. And then going back to DraftKings, looking at top 20 odds, Burgoon, 5.5 to 1.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. And then plus 165 on the top 40. So
not bad either.
We'll place both of those.
If you guys want to look at top 20 bets and you're not worried about retiring tomorrow, but you want to make some money, EVR at plus 175 is pretty sweet. Plus money on EVR to top 20 this event. I like that a lot, honestly. Heck, Keith Mitchell at plus 140. Olsen's 140, and he's a 10K guy. What the hell are we doing here? Yeah, this is top 20. I double check. I clicked the right button. Good Lord. They're all plus because it's outside of Højgaard and Finau.
Right. I guess it's because these guys are just sketch as shit.
Yeah, which makes sense. Like McNeely plus 250. That's fun.
Yeah.
Sam Stevens. This is where you can get a lot of discrepancy this week between DK pricing and like sportsbook pricing, because like Sam Stevens and Toasty are up here next to me. Like they're all over. Like they should be a lot lower. Is what I'm trying to say. This is quite interesting, but yeah. Anybody else you're looking at this week? As I just keep blabbering and looking at numbers and going, what? Like I need to get a state that allows me to bet.
Yeah. You really don't want it though, because then you just end up firing off a bunch of dumb shit and then don't win anything and lose all your money. No, I mean I don't have much else. It's just fun to look forward to what we have coming up here in the next few weeks.
Dude, you can get Tony Finau to top 10 at plus 110.
Yeah, I mean that's probably a good bet. To be honest.
Plus 110, because plus top 5 plus 210. Like, just don't be greedy. Take those extra 5 spots.
Right.
Unless he literally like gets the shits. I don't know how he doesn't top 10 this event.
I'm with you.
There's no such thing ever in life as free money. We know this, but that's pretty good options right there.
I'm with you.
But all right, we'll wrap it up there. As I can, like I said, I can keep just staring at these and blabbering for days. But we'll be back next week with the event formerly known as the Honda. That's all I'm going to call it, because I think it's a Covalent or something. It's event formerly known as the Honda.
We'll figure it out next week.
Yeah. But until
Cognizant, I think it's cognizant.
Yeah, I'm not very cognizant of this event. So there you go. There's your big word of the day, everybody. Make sure you check out Jesse on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods, the podcast at Always Press DFS. I'm at BD Intric. This is your 2024 Mexico Open preview. Catch you all next time.